Today's episode of DRL is brought to you by Hella Cocktail Company. My guests don't just come to DRL for me. They also come for the cocktails. Luckily, my friends at Hella Cocktail Company have my back. These guys make amazing mixes, from Bloody Mary to Margarita to Moscow Mule. They also make cocktail bitters, my secret ingredient, and now yours too. It's easy to feel like the best bartender in town when every bottle comes with a simple recipe on it. Hella Cocktail Company, bold flavor, real ingredients, hospitality. Mixing it up since 2011. Shop the collection on Amazon Prime or use code DRL online at hellacocktail.co for free shipping. Hello, my lovely listeners. Welcome back to another episode of DRL, where we're talking everything dating, relationships, and love. I'm your host, Tennesha Wood. I was just talking to my guest, Rhonda, about how I've been in and out of a suitcase for the past 8 months now, and I just really want to get settled. Like, I'm so big on home, like having things the way I want them to. Your home is the only place in the world where you can walk and be like, everything here is exactly how I want it. And so I'm looking forward to like getting back to Puerto Rico after traveling for the past couple weeks. You are from Louisiana?
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Why did you say it like New Orleans isn't in Louisiana?
When people say, like, yeah, I'm from Louisiana, New Orleans is so different from Baton Rouge or Lake Charles. Like, they're just so different. They're very country.
I've only been to New Orleans, so okay. I can't speak on the other places. Yeah. So you're from New Orleans.
Yes, ma'am.
How's dating in New Orleans?
I've probably dated everyone in New Orleans. No, not really. But the pool is very small. A lot of people are married. They got married like out of high school and college, and it's a small city. So a lot of people knew each other from high school, and they got married after college. So I've met a few people, but not the best. Not the best, honestly. And I don't think they really want to settle down. So that's what I'm running into now.
When was your last date?
Oh, interesting enough. I met a guy on Bumble, and he was from a small town, maybe like 2 hours outside of New Orleans. And we met a couple days. We talked. He's like, oh, I'm going to come down to the city and see you. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So he drives down, but he brings all his things with him. So I'm like, oh, so you're not going to drive back?
Like, what do you mean all his things?
Oh, like bags.
But not like tables and chairs, right?
Not tables and chairs, but like bags, like a backpack, like a little small bag. And I said, oh, are you going to get a hotel after? He was like, oh, I thought I was going to stay with you. And I'm like, whoa. Skirt.
I just met you. I don't know if you're a serial killer yet.
Yes. So, I mean, the date was like amazing. We had a really, really good time. But at the end, of course, Tennesha, he did end up staying with me. And I have a 2-bedroom apartment. So I'm like,
wait, why did you let him stay?
Tennesha, I felt really bad. It was like 3 a.m. and I'm not going to talk you home because I'm tired too.
Well, hotels stay open 24 hours.
True story. But I just, maybe the alcohol kind of.
What if he was the killer?
Well, I'm still alive to tell you the story today.
Did he stay in the same room or in your other room?
He stayed in the other room. And the next morning when we woke up, he's like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to stay. I was like, no, I have to go to work. And he's like, so you're not going to let me stay? I can lock up. And I'm like, absolutely not. I'm like, pack your shit up. Let's go.
So he wanted to just kick it in your apartment all day?
He threw a bitch fit. He was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm like, no, I'm serious.
Whoa.
You need to go.
So now you're getting mad.
Yes.
Because I won't let you, you stranger.
I let you stay.
Stay at my house all day.
Yes. So he's like, can I at least brush my teeth and take a shower?
No.
And I said, absolutely not. I was like, 10 minutes.
With that fit that you just threw, I'm going to need you to get out my house now before I call the police.
Yeah. So I sat on the stairs or the steps outside of my apartment and waited for him to take a shower and brush his teeth. And like, he was just like, man, like picking up the stuff and throwing. I'm like, are you okay? Are you good?
He was literally throwing a fit.
Yes. An absolute bitch fit.
So then what happened after that? Did you guys go out again?
No, we did talk a little bit after, but he was very needy and very clingy.
You think?
I probably should have, called you before this. I haven't talked to him since. He works offshore. So right now he's on a boat somewhere in the middle of the Gulf.
Oh, so he literally just kind of travels around and doesn't have when he needs he needs a place to stay when he's on land.
Yes.
Got it.
So he's there for maybe like a month or two, and then he comes back.
How long have you been single?
Oh, gosh, probably like 4 years now. I dated a guy. He was a really good friend of mine from high school. It was kind of a rebound date. I don't want to call it that, but it really was. I had got out of a 5-year relationship and then jumped right back into that. And I think I was just using him because I didn't want to be alone.
How long were you with him?
2 years.
So this was a 2-year rebound.
Yeah.
And what happened there?
I hope he doesn't listen to this, but
everybody listens to DRL. No,
they do. He didn't. I felt like he wasn't motivated, and he didn't speak very well. So,
what do you mean?
People in New Orleans, they have accents, and I don't feel like I have an accent,
like a Southern accent.
There's certain things that when I'm home, I say that you probably would come out and you would hear.
Are we talking Ebonics or like a Southern accent,
or
what
do
you
Ebonics?
mean? Okay.
Now that you mentioned it, it's probably more Ebonics. And he's like, oh, bro, you looked it so nice in that dress. And I'm like, that word's looked.
Looked, not looked
You're
it.
adding extra syllables to these words that don't have them there. And that really bothered me. And my mom's like, Rhonda, that's really not a big deal. And I said, no, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal.
Okay.
You can't fix that, Tennesha. And if you're out in public with people and he says it, it's like, ooh.
It's like embarrassing.
Yes,
it's like when your kid just does something and you're like, and you try to kick him under the table, like, stop that right now.
Yes.
And that was the only reason?
And the motivation part. Like,
Okay.
he worked for UPS. He's a driver for UPS. And that's great.
How did he look at it in his uniform?
He's a tiny man. And I think I go for bigger men, but he was a smaller man. And everybody's like, you're so tiny. You don't need to, date somebody big. But it's just my thing. I kind of like bigger men. Mm-hmm. He looked it nice in his uniform. He's cute in his uniform. He's a cute guy, though.
Did you tell him that this was an issue for you?
No.
Why would you never say it?
Well, there was another instance. A friend and I went out with his son for a dinner. And we're asking his son, like, what'd you do today? He said, I was on a farm with my uncle, and we were riding the ponies. And his dad's like, you were riding the horsies. And I'm like, wait. And my friend said,
you're like, your child is right, I think.
My friend said, horsies is not plural for horses, nor is it a little pony. And it just was like, that's embarrassing. Like, that friend, fine. If she heard it, I don't really care. But like someone else hearing it's like,
But why did you never tell him? Why didn't you say, hey, have you noticed that maybe the language that you use is, it just doesn't make you seem as smart as you probably are?
I feel like it's offensive.
That is offensive. But sometimes you have to, if you're with somebody for 2 years though,
yes.
I think there does come a point where it's like, we have to be completely honest. Yeah, I might not tell somebody that on a first date, but 2 years in, I might be like, your language, it might be holding you back from certain opportunities and you don't even realize. You know what I mean? If you're a grown man and you say horsies, in a professional setting, you don't know what people might think of that. I'm not saying he's not intelligent and that he's not smart, but if you use certain language, I'm not saying people should have to code switch all the time.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, speak like an adult.
I agree.
That's all. Like, speak like an adult.
Yeah. I think that was like a major issue, but I think another issue was, I don't want to call him a pushover, but he was a bit of a pushover. Like, oh, you want that role? Yeah, that's fine. We can do that. You can do that. Tell me no. Tell me no.
Wow. See, men rarely hear this criticism.
Yeah, tell
Probably
me no.
because they say no a lot more.
He wasn't that one. Like, you want to go on that trip this weekend? Okay, I'll figure it out. We'll rearrange.
So he just went along with everything.
Yeah. Tell me no. I don't like. I'm going to fight you a little bit, and then you tell me after that.
It's probably because he sort of knew you were maybe out of his league in a way.
Maybe.
And so he was the yes man to keep you happy.
Who wants a yes man? We all do want a yes man, but sometimes you just need somebody.
We all need balance is what we really need. Like, we don't want somebody that's all the time like, yes, whatever you want, miss. Yes. Like, that's not how women actually want to roll.
No.
And what happened with the person you were dating before that? That was a 4-year relationship, you said?
That was 5 years. So
5
we lived
years.
together 3 out of the 5 years. And I think we were just too young.
How old were you when you guys got together?
So we were 23 and we separated when I was 28. So
that is long for that
young.
age.
It's very young. Right out of college, I moved in. He was living with his cousin. And so I would stay with his cousin and him a couple of nights out of the week. And then I said, let's just move into our own place. And we were probably 24 when we moved into our own place. Tennesha, he was a smoker and a partier and a drinker. And a lot of times friends would call and say, hey, he's passed out on my sofa. Can you come get him? And it's like, no, he's an adult. He'll sober up. Yeah, he'll sober up and come home. And I think the last straw for me was he went to work one day and he left his wallet at home. And so I'm calling his job. I'm like, hey, John left his wallet at home. And they're like, oh, he doesn't work here anymore. oh, okay. And so I call his phone. I'm like, hey, I just called your work to drop off your wallet. And he's like, yeah. I'm going to call you right back. I was like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And so I texted him. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, you don't work there anymore? He's like, I was embarrassed to tell you. I was like, so what are you doing? Where
do you leave for in the morning?
You're getting up every day and getting dressed. Where are you going? Just to look for another job? Really? Yeah, I'm doubtful.
See, I always say it's never the crime. It's the cover up.
Yes.
Like the crime is, okay, you lost your job. But it looks real shady that every day you get up and like you're premeditating this every day.
Ro's going to find out. Can't let Ro find out. Can't let Ro.
I'm going to get dressed at the same time. I'm going to leave at the same time every day. I'm going to come home at the, like that takes planning, like deliberate planning.
So that was the last straw for me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. Because if you're lying about this, what else have you been lying about?
How long had he been lying about the job?
2 months.
Okay, so that's still a long time. No, it's still a long time. But in my mind, I pictured it a year, and I'm like 365, but still 60 days.
That's a long time. I could have helped you find a job in 2 months,
right?
Wow.
So,
we were a little toxic though.
I mean, at that age, I think to have something long term, it's just I don't think people are necessarily mature enough yet to really be building in a healthy way for something that long term.
I agree.
So are you deliberately single now?
I wouldn't call it deliberate. I think it's just my standards are very high and I'm very picky. I'm like, his nose flares too much. I don't like that. I know. But I'm honest. Or, his pants sag a little too much. I don't like that.
What exactly are you looking for?
I don't have a look per se, but you have to be, you have to have something going for you. You have to want more for yourself, and I think that's the biggest thing. And when people don't have that or like aren't intelligent, I love smart people. Somebody super smart and motivated that can teach me things too. Because I don't know everything and I want to learn something from somebody. Mm-hmm. So I like that about a person. Like physical, not as important. But
so if he's super smart, but his nose flares too much,
might be a deal breaker.
Really?
Might be a deal breaker.
Absolutely. But why?
Because I have to look at this flared nose every day. What do you mean?
I mean,
I'm sure I would get over it if I really were attracted to you or interested in you, but
I think that women pass up good men oftentimes because they're sort of focused on things that they can change. Like if you meet a man and you said like his pants sag too much, that's a belt. You know what I mean? Like the repair there is really just like, here's a belt.
Yes.
Use it.
Yes. But like that young look, you're dressed very young. Like, who are you? You're 35 years old.
It is a physical thing that can be changed.
Yes.
But oftentimes when people dress in that way, mm-hmm. it is sort of a reflection of how they act generally. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes. Like I could guess that a person that's, just rolling around dressing like they're 15 isn't necessarily always acting in an adult type manner. Agreed. So yeah, I could see that. Yes. But if it's really on just some like, I just don't like the way that man dresses because you know what I mean? Like you could flare that up.
I agree.
So you're looking for intelligent.
Yes.
What else?
Funny. Mm-hmm. You have to be like a jokester. Honestly, when I think about it, someone that's like my dad. My dad is like the most responsible, like level-headed. I mean, he'll bark at you, like, why don't you take care of this week? Why don't you take care of this? But like, I appreciate that sometimes because I'm all over the place most of the time, So I need somebody to keep me like, oh crap, I need to do that.
Somebody grounded.
Yes, absolutely. Family-oriented or, like likes family or like maybe from a big family because I come from a smaller family.
Are you the only child?
I have a sister, older sister. Mm-hmm. So she's 10 years older than me.
Oh, okay. That's
so we're kind of, we're kind of different. But family's big to me. Family's really big. So somebody that likes family, wants a family, wants to be married.
These sound doable.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, and especially in the South, I would think most of the men down there not marriage minded in that way?
Some of them are, but I think a lot of the good ones have been taken.
They got snatched up early.
Yep. Right out of college.
Have you ever thought about like dating long distance or dating somebody outside of New Orleans?
So I tried once. A friend of mine or my coworker, she and I went to the swingers club one night, and there's this guy in there with this.
Wait, tell us more about that.
Yes, it was so. She just resigned from her position, and so everybody's going around the room speaking and saying things about the person, and she's like, "Don't mention the swingers club." And I'm like, "Yeah, we're at a work function. Why
hold on. Wait, so you guys were at this swingers club, and this is how you met?
I met a guy at yes.
Well, first of all, tell me about the swingers club. I want to hear about that. Then tell me about the guy.
So the swingers club.
This is in New Orleans?
Yes.
Interesting.
So they have different nights. So some nights, I think, I don't know, you give your panties to get in or something ridiculous. I don't know, something like that.
I'm sorry. I think we're confused here. Is the name of the club swingers, or is it a club with swinger people?
It's a club with swinger people.
Okay.
Yes. It's not called swingers. So we went to a party that night, and after she's like, "I'm not ready to go home. Let's go to this club." And I'm like, "Okay, Danielle." So we go in the club. I'm like, "What is this?" And she's like, "It's actually a swingers club. Me and my husband come sometimes." And I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, I'm open to anything. So the downstairs part is like the bar, a dance floor, people talking. And the upstairs has like the little mini rooms where people can go in the rooms. And there's like an open space where people, whatever, do things. So there's like couches. The separate rooms have like little curtains and people can peek in. And
are these married people?
I think it's a mix. I think it's a mix of both. And then they have the rooms with like the glass window and like the bed and they're like the round bed and people.
Are they cleaning the beds after each person?
Probably not.
Okay, these are the things I think about sometimes. But anyway, go on.
I would probably say no. So upstairs, people are giving hand jobs and those things.
And you could just see it.
Yep, they're just sitting out in the open. Kind of, there are a couple people maybe engaging in intercourse and things like that. So we go back downstairs and there's this couple downstairs and this guy, he's really attractive. And so we're looking at each other, but I'm like, he's with the girl. Like,
wait, do the people know people are watching? Like, they can see everybody. Like, everybody can see each other.
Yes, everybody can see each other.
Now,
I mean, the lights are dim, of course.
As people are doing stuff, are they making eye contact with the people watching?
I didn't make any.
Okay.
Not my thing.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm almost just wondering, like, are they putting on a show so where they're like,
I'm sure some people
eye contact with each person in the audience. Everybody look at me.
Yes, some people would like, you like this, you like what you see, and it's like, no, I don't.
Got it.
In my head now. So the guy, we're sitting down together.
Is he there with somebody?
He's there with another woman. And he's like, "Oh, you're from here?" He slides over and he's talking. He's like, "Are you from here?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm from here. I'm with my coworker." We decided to come out. He's like, "Do you go to these places often?" I was like, "Actually, it's my first time." He's like, "Oh, how are you liking it?" I'm like, "Interesting. No, it's different." And so the girl that's with them, she talks a little bit, not much. And they get up to leave, and he's like looking at me, like we're just like locking eyes, walking. And my friend's like, he really was like, into it. I'm like, but he's with another woman. Like, how does that work? So the next day I'm at home swiping on Tinder or one of the dating apps, and I find him. So I'm like, I'm just gonna swipe and see what happens. So swipe. Boom, connections. I'm like, oh my gosh, And he's like, I knew you would find me. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's not how Tinder works, but okay, I did, I guess.
I know I'd find you. He's like, won't you meet me? I'm staying at this hotel. We can have a drink in the bar at the hotel that I'm staying at. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm in my own city, so not as scary to go to a place that, So I meet him downstairs and he's like, if you'd like to come up, you're more than welcome to come, up and, hang out with us. And I'm like, is she okay with this? Like,
so wait, where's the girl at this point?
She's in the room. He said she's up in the room taking a shower.
Got it.
So he's like, if you want to come up, you can. And I'm like, she can come down and have a drink. He's like, he calls her. She's like, no, I just showered. I don't want to come down, but bring her up. And so we go up to the room and he brings her a drink up to the room. And I'm like sitting off on a sofa. We're watching like the Kardashians on TV.
Wait, so all three of y'all are just watching the Kardashians?
Yeah, it was a very interesting night. So we're watching TV and like, he goes and turns the TV off. And so I'm like, oh crap, like what's about to happen?
So at this point, what are you thinking is going to happen? You came up to the room.
Agreed,
so like,
agreed.
You knew something was probably sexually it was going to happen.
Yeah, well, not for me. But so he moves her across the bed and like starts touching herself. I was like, whoa. And he was like, oh, you're not into this? He was like, I met you like at a swingers club. I was like, yeah, but I told you it was my first time. Like, I didn't know it was really going to happen. He was like, just relax, like enjoy the show. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not really into watching people or whatever. And she's like, it's going to be okay. And I'm like, oh, so you're into this too.
Well, yeah, you're up there. She knows what's up.
So yeah, they, do some things, and I'm like, yeah.
And are you just sitting there watching?
I don't know what to do.
I mean, if there's people having sex in a room, you can't not watch. Like,
you can't not watch. Agree.
Hold on,
but you can't get up and walk out either, can you?
Hold on. It'd be hilarious if you're just looking at your phone, like pretending you don't hear it. Like, yep. So just nice dress she got on Instagram there. Oh. That's cool. It looks up. Oh, you guys aren't done yet? Okay, cool. Let me just check my Facebook then.
So it probably lasts maybe 20 minutes. And he's like, she's looking at me and he's like, you want to join? I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm just going to sit over
So
here.
for 20 minutes, what are you thinking though? Like,
what did I get myself into? What the hell did I get myself into?
And you didn't want to join this. You were just...
No, that's so
Why did you go up to the room?
I really thought... I don't know what I thought was going to happen. Like, maybe just like casual conversation.
No, you met them at a swingers club.
Yeah.
They're staying at a hotel. They invite you up to the room.
You think something's going to happen?
Yeah, that would be the perfect mix of something happening.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. Wasn't.
So then you just left?
Yeah. So he walks me back.
Did they
downstairs.
finish or were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he goes in the bathroom, washes his hands.
How polite of you to wait.
So he walks me downstairs and we're on the elevator and it's like a very, so this was nice. And he was like, I'm sorry that happened. He was like, I really thought you were going to join in and be okay with it. I was like, yeah. I was like, it's just not my thing. I'm uncomfortable. And he was like, I'd really like to see you again. And I'm like, huh? Like, who is she upstairs? Who did we just leave in the room?
Who are you?
And he's like, oh, we dated a little bit, but we aren't together. He was like, we dated in the past and we're kind of friends. He took her to New Orleans for her birthday. So it was kind of a birthday trip. And so, we said we keep in touch. And he actually came and saw me 2 weeks later. He flew out from Jersey. He's from Jersey. He flew out from Jersey to come see me 2 weeks later. And it just didn't, the same spark wasn't there when I first, locked eyes with him in the club. So we went to dinner and I don't know. He just was weird. Yeah.
So no connection there.
No connection.
What an interesting experience, though.
One for the books, Tennesha.
Live porn. Free.
But it was interesting.
Wow. So would you ever, go back to a swingers club?
No. I didn't enjoy it. And I'm not going to partake in it or, do anything. So what's it in it for me,
That's fair.
Yeah. I wasn't into it. And it was a lot of older white men. Not my thing,
I could see that being the crew. At
it wasn't
like
my thing. It wasn't like these hot bod,
It wasn't like the body issue of Sports Illustrated or anything.
It's older people living out fantasies.
They're like, at this point, look, I'm just going to do what I want to do. Got it.
So yeah, I probably wouldn't go back.
Can you talk about that experience that you had that one time?
Which one?
You had told me, I don't know.
I can't remember that one.
It was like some girl that came on to you.
Was it the girl that I dated, Tennesha?
I didn't. Okay, well, let's talk about that. So you've dated women as well.
Yes, just one.
How was that experience?
I really enjoyed it only because I think it was more of a person thing. I didn't see her as a woman. I saw her as a person. She was in pharmacy school, really smart, really educated, and she was married to a woman. And her wife was in the military or something, I don't know. And she lived in Florida, and she was in New Orleans in pharmacy school. And we met, she used to bartend at an event, or I worked at an event venue that hosted parties and things like that. And she was one of our part-time or contracted bartenders. And so, after work, she'd be like, hey, you want to go grab a drink? And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Let's go grab a drink. Not thinking anything of it. And I promise you, I'm super naive. People are like, she's coming on to you. I'm like, no, she just wants to hang out, So we started going out after work functions. And one night I was supposed to go to this what is it called? The dinner in Blanc, the all white dinner.
Oh, yeah.
At the secret location. And the guy I was supposed to go with, he couldn't get off of work. So I called him Jess, so you want to go to this, dinner? She's like, yeah, I'll come with you. So we go to this dinner. And I think Tennesha then, when we went, was when I really connected with her, and I was like, I really like you. I could, I enjoy being with you, touching hands across the table. And it just was cool. And another night we went out and it started storming. And so we're in this bar and we're like, well, might as well keep drinking. And so we're in the bar just drinking. And she's like, I can't let you go home. It's really bad weather. It's storming. It might flood. Stay at
Come to my place. Let me keep you warm away from the storm.
Basically, yeah. So I left my car at the restaurant. We go back to her place and, cuddle and touchy-feely and that.
And was this your first experience with a woman?
Yes.
And so were you like, what's happening? Or were you just open to it? Like, what's your mindset at that point?
I kind of just went with it. And I think for me, the biggest takeaway was like, women know what women like. Ideally, we know our bodies. And so she's like, she knows what points or trigger, like where to touch and kind of go for it. So I think that was just so intriguing to me because like, man, she just touches all the right places. So, that lasted probably for about 9 months.
Oh, wow.
And
so was this okay with her wife?
So that was the thing. The wife didn't really know about it, and she would come visit. And I think there was like some text message that she found or something she saw where she's like, who is this girl that you've been talking to? And she was like, Ro, I don't want to do this anymore. I really don't want to hurt my wife, and I want to work on our relationship. And she just stopped talking to me for like 2 months and then came back and was like, I'm so sorry I disappeared, but like we really had to get our marriage together and I can't do this. So
wow.
Crushed my little heart.
Aww.
Crushed Tennesha.
So at that point though, did you sort of start rethinking your sexuality? You hadn't dated women and now you have like an ongoing relationship with one for 9 months. At this point, are you starting to think, well, could I see myself with a woman? Could I marry a woman?
So that was a hard one for me because of course my parents are my mom's super Catholic. So guess what? You're going to marry a nice little Catholic man. And I think in the back of my mind, I knew I was never going to pursue it just because I never like to upset my parents. I never like to let them down. And I always not live up to their expectations, but I just don't want to do anything that might put my mom in an early grave.
Right.
So I was like, this will be fun. But like, I probably would never do it. Like I would never move forward with it.
But you were heartbroken when she left.
Absolutely. I really was. Like I cried for like 3 days straight.
So if another woman came at you now,
I'd be like, skirt, skirt.
That was just a one-time thing.
Girlfriend. Not for me. No, I've never looked at any other woman besides her like that, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah.
She put it on you.
She did. She did. It's so sad because I feel like men in New Orleans, if they're from New Orleans, they have a certain look of woman that they want. So it's like the Creole woman, the finer features, the keen features, the long hair, like the light skinned girl. So they have a look, not all of them, but they all go to the same places and they all hang out at the same places all the time. So I don't know. When they go, it's like, I saw you last weekend. Are you interested this weekend? No, you weren't. Okay, let's try next week. So I don't go out much. My coworker from Orlando, we hung out a lot, and that was fun. She's just like the ultimate Tinder girl. Like every night of the week, she had a different Tinder day. I'm like, how do you even keep up?
I like to do a couple Tinder dates when I did do them because then I could keep an outfit. Well, no, I like them in a day. So I would schedule like a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. I would do one outfit, one makeup, one hair, and then boom.
That's too much.
And I would even schedule them like in the same like block or couple blocks so that I wouldn't have to like really
essentially. Did you go to the same places though, or you went to different places?
Like it'd be like I go to breakfast a place on this street, on the next block over another place.
Okay.
But essentially I would have loved to have just sat at a table and been like, next. Okay. So let's just do this quickly. Yeah. Like my own personal speed dating. Right. You got to kind of hurry this up. I have somebody at 10 o'clock. So if you could just hurry up with that speech, that whole thing, that'd be great.
That's cool.
What's the best date you've ever been on?
I don't know that I've ever had like a really good date.
What?
I can't even think of anything that's been like...
The men down there don't do the Southern hospitality?
What is that?
That doesn't exist down there?
I don't think so.
Really?
No. In
my mind, I've never dated a Southern man.
Okay.
But in my mind, it's like, they're opening every door. But I feel like in the South, it's this mentality of like hospitality and like being a gentleman. And
no, they don't do that.
They don't.
No, unfortunately.
Huh.
Don't let it
The reason that I truly believe this in my mind was because I lived in Dallas for a very brief period for like 4 months. And one time I was in Target and this guy came at me and he was just so sweet and respectful about it that I almost wanted to be like, yeah, let's exchange numbers. I'll give you to a friend, because he wasn't my type. I wasn't interested, but just how respectful he was. And I was like, you know what? None from the South. Kudos to you.
No, they'll all try to like come at you, but it's always like, hey babe, like stay red or stay, it's like, sir.
Stay red?
Say hello, or they'll say.
Wait,
Say red.
Say red?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
So your skin color is red. So they're like,
oh.
Yeah. And it's like, say hello. Hi,
Got
how are
it.
you? You know, excuse me, miss. No,
So they'll be like, red. Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I thought you were saying like they were like, say red.
They
like,
will. Yes, you got it.
Oh, they'll say it like that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
How rude.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this guy in Dallas, he just was like, excuse me. He's like, I was noticing you from over there. I think you're very beautiful. I just want to know, like, are you spoken for? And then I said, yes, I am.
Well.
And then he said, okay, well, it was, nice meeting you. And I hope you have a beautiful, it was
There's a few of those.
The whole interaction was so pleasant. I was
There's a
like,
few,
hey,
not
come
a
back. Wait.
I think I have someone for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So
There's a few of those. A very small few.
So the Southern
They're
hospitality
like, say, can I
thing.
holler at you for a second? No. Hello. Like, no.
See, okay,
Their approach is just really bad. It's a bad approach.
Let's demonstrate this for people.
Okay.
You play the woman. I'm going to play the man. Okay. Excuse me.
Hi.
I was over there and I saw you and there was something striking about you and I wanted to come over and say hello.
Oh, hi.
How's your day going?
Well, how was yours?
Good. I don't want to take too much of your time, but I would love to take you out and get to know you. Maybe a coffee or something.
Sure. You want to take my number? You want me to take yours?
Okay, let's exchange numbers. And then I'm going to call you right then to make sure
and
it's
then
not the wrong number. No.
I was going to say, don't call it right now because my phone died.
No, that was actually too formal. Okay, let's pretend we're in a bar.
Okay,
we're in a bar. We're just like sitting next to each other at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How's your night going?
Good. How's yours?
It's going really well. Good. What are you drinking?
Tequila, a little tequila and lime
Oh
juice.
my God, you can't go wrong with that.
Absolutely. What are you drinking?
I'm having a mezcal because I'm fancy. That's fancy tequila.
Nice. Nice. Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
Awesome.
Where are you from?
New Orleans.
Oh, nice. I just went down there for Mardi Gras.
Awesome. How'd you like it?
It was good.
Good. Not my scene, but yeah. You guys had fun.
Oh my God, I see why men get awkward.
You didn't know where to go from there, did you?
Abort!
Okay, well, nice talking to you. Enjoy that drink.
Eventually, I was going to buy her around.
I appreciate that.
Eventually, I was going to get to, does she have a boyfriend?
Doesn't it get weird, though? Like,
buy around.
Yes, it's awkward. It's not awkward. Like, I can hold a conversation with anybody, but it just gets awkward, Like you said, we were just at a pause and it's like, so now what?
Well, I think if people...
Okay. And if I'm not attracted to you, I'd probably be like, okay, like I'm just going to go to the restroom now,
That's the tough part when you're actually not attracted to somebody and they are being polite. Like, how do you say thanks, but no thanks?
Do you tell them, I've always been like, I'm seeing someone and I'm not.
But why should we lie though?
That was my thing. Like,
you know what I mean?
How do we curb it?
Why should we lie if we're just simply not attracted to somebody? They shot their shot. Like,
but
all is fair.
Them,
you know what I mean? All is fair. I think we can.
I'm just not attracted to you.
No, not in that way. But I also don't think we should lie. Like, I
agree.
I don't think we should lie. Like, oh, I just have a lot on my plate right now with work.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm seeing somebody. Like, I think there should be just more honesty overall in dating. So what if we just said, hey, I appreciate you buying me that drink and I appreciate our conversation, but I'm just not interested.
I guess. I just don't like to hurt people's feelings.
And then that's the truth.
It's a hard letdown.
Because what happens is when people say stuff like, oh, I have a lot on my plate right now. That means you are attracted to me or you can be. You're just busy at the moment. Right. And so then people keep trying.
Yes.
Like if somebody really likes you, then they're like, oh, well, hey, how's work looking this week? Anything off your plate? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You leave the door open.
And if you just say, hey, I'm just not interested. That closes the door.
It does.
It's not that I'm busy.
I know.
It's not that I'm seeing somebody. I'm just not interested.
I know, but I just feel like it kills a man's ego. It kills anyone's ego. Like even a woman, like I told you, like, yeah, I'm just not interested in you, Tennesha. Like, doesn't that it's like a blow to your ego? Like, well, am I not pretty enough? Is it like, I don't know.
But I think it saves so much time because then you're not thinking. For me, I would think, well, that person's just not interested in me. I wouldn't necessarily think, because you didn't name anything else.
Right.
Like, I wouldn't be like, you know, and then if I was further curious, I would say like, can I ask specifically
would you really?
what doesn't interest you?
Gotcha.
And then if somebody's just like, you're just not my type.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You're right. We should be more honest about
I'm just not for you. But I think we always leave the door open or come up with an excuse and like, but I used to get so mad when like dudes would keep texting me and I'm like,
please leave me alone.
Why are you still texting me? And it's because I haven't actually said,
I'm just not interested.
I'm just not interested. I have said everything around that. I am busy. I have family in town every weekend for the next 52 weekends. I have a lot going on at work.
Yeah.
Everything is happening in my family.
But I do that a lot. And like people just keep trying. But like, when do they give up?
When you say, I'm not interested.
For years though.
But I'm not interested. Have you said, I'm not interested?
No. I mean, but I always feel like we can be friends, right?
Oh, you know what? You know what it's like? Do you ever get, those emails you get just from everywhere every day and you can delete them or you can put them in your junk mail or you can unsubscribe to them. Like, but there's all these options of how much you want to be contacted.
Yes.
And if you just, what I usually do is I'll just be like, this again, and I'll just delete it.
Right.
And then it pops back up again the next day and the next day. And then finally one day I just get so irritated that I'm just like, let me take the time to go to their website and unsubscribe because they're annoying me to that level now. I think up front and at the beginning, we should just take the time to unsubscribe so that we're not wasting anybody's time.
I'm going to work on that.
I'm not interested. Because why is there shame in that?
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm just thinking about this now, but we all do that. Like we all make up excuses.
Just so, like we don't want to hurt people, or we don't want people to feel like they're not attractive or not, like, I don't know. I just feel like it hurts people's ego.
But it's the truth.
It is.
You know what I mean?
The truth hurts, Tennesha.
If you have a job interview and they're like, hey, sorry, like we're just not interested. Mm-hmm. I mean, does that mean you'll never get another job?
No, but I think with jobs, it's easier because then you can ask. Like, I never mind asking, like, oh, was there something I could have done better in my interview? Was it a lack of skill? Or, was there somebody more qualified? I always kind of want to know. But, like, in dating, you're not going to be like, do you think I'm too thin? Do you think I'm too short? Like, I'm not going to ask you because I don't
Well, why can't you say, can I just ask specifically what is it something specific about me that is just not interesting to you? Or why are you not interested?
I'm going to try that. I never really thought about it.
And maybe it is something that you don't even know that you're doing that you're not aware of. And it is actually something that like can help you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that guy you were talking about who, couldn't speak right.
Yeah.
If you just say to him like, hey, you might not even recognize that you do this because it's such a part of who you are and how you speak.
Right.
But here's how it's coming off to me and probably others,
people, right.
And so now he's rolling around still talking like that, getting turned down. I don't think
it's going to change though, honestly. Like I heard him on a podcast recently and I was like, did you listen back to it and see how you sounded?
How did he sounded?
It just, oh my gosh, it was bad. It was all bad. It was just bad. But we're still really good friends.
Nobody ever told him.
No. And his friends don't tell him either. They're bad friends.
It should have been. It should have been you.
It still can be me.
He shouldn't have to. We're
still friends, Tennesha.
Talk to him.
We're still friends. Like we go out for like lunch dates every once in a while. Like I like hanging out with him.
You should tell him
because he's a good person to talk to and just vent to. But I don't see anything with him.
You should tell him.
Yeah,
he might really not know.
He doesn't.
Like especially if there's people around you that are the same way. Like it's hard to see the impact of that.
Agreed.
So you're headed to Spain. So you actually stopped in New York on your way to. You're going to Barcelona.
And we're going to do Ibiza and Mallorca.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are you going to go on any dates while you're in Spain?
Probably not. Only because my friend is very. We're going to do this, and we have this itinerary. I'm going to print it when I get to work today, and we're going to do this at this time. So it's like, when do I have time to like do anything for myself? I mean, she's going to do like a booze cruise kind of boat tour, and I really didn't want to do that in Ibiza. So maybe at like a rooftop, I'm like, hey, what you doing tonight? And she's a early sleeper, so I can probably find some time now.
Well, I don't like going on vacation with people like that.
No, she's super cool. I've known her since I was 7. So I mean,
I'm like, leave me alone. I am on vacation.
But she's that girl that's like, you do what you do, and I'm going to do what I do. Because she's like, you don't want to do I was like, I don't want to do the cruise. She's like, and that's okay.
Okay, good. So she doesn't expect you to partake in every activity.
She's like, if you have something you want to do, go do it. Like, by all means, go do it.
So you recently also started a new job, like we said.
Yes.
And you're going to be traveling a lot. Are you going to date in each city? So I think that'd be fun.
I think it would be fun. So at my current property, we had a girl that filled in, and I think she did it for 3 months, and she went on dates. But my thing is it going to go anywhere? Like, and Tanisha, no offense to Minnesota, but my best friend, she calls me and she's like, you're going to meet a farmer in Minnesota and you're going to be like, Ro, what you doing? Hey girl, we're milking cows on his farm.
That's a really cute date.
But I might, you never know what could come from it. So.
Oh, I think that'll just be so much fun.
I think so too.
Going to a city and then like, right. And then like people can like show you around. Like, I think those are fun dates when it's like, you don't know a city and then somebody has the opportunity to kind of show you their city. Like,
but what if I really like them and then what? And I go to another city for like 3 months.
Then you can reorganize and reprioritize if you need to.
How does that really work?
I mean, here's how I see like relationships and like finding a person that you really love. I think jobs come and go. I'm a big believer in that. Like, very few people are doing the job that they're like, this is the one. This is the thing I am in love with. This is the only thing for me. And so largely most jobs are replaceable.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm getting a check from here. I could easily get a check from there. But it's really hard to find somebody that you love and that you connect with on a certain level. If I found that person, I would pick that over any job.
Yeah.
So if you were to meet somebody in Minnesota,
there is actually, what I did was I looked at all the vacancies at properties and there was one in Minnesota. So that might be one of my first assignments.
Yeah. Let me know. Let me know. Yeah, but I would switch jobs to be with that person.
Yeah. Yeah. I give myself 2 years doing this because like I said, the hotel thing, living in a hotel is going to.
So what exactly do you do?
I'm an event manager.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So whenever they're having an event at a certain property, you fly and like coordinate and set up that event.
So it's multiple events. Typically in a week, I'll do about maybe 3 programs in a week. And some of them are large, some of them are small. I work at a smaller property now, so they're small, like 20, 30 people.
Got it.
And some of them are 300, but you don't get those that often. So
do you do like weddings?
Yes.
Do brides go crazy?
Yep.
Yep. There's that. I'm not doing a wedding. It's just not happening.
At this, I see what they cost now, and I see all the work that goes into it.
How much does a typical wedding cost?
So a nice one, maybe like 20, 30,000, which is, 30,000. I would say 30.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, but I mean, I've seen
for a day.
Yeah, agreed.
For a day,
agreed. We had an Indian wedding, and I think they spent like $200,000. Like it was insane. It was beautiful, of course, but like it was, over the top insane. And my dad would be like,
yeah, for $200K, we're never getting divorced and we're never having a fight. Even like we can't even argue.
You should think going to Nisha, remember?
Oh, the 21 days? Oh, we finished.
Really? How did I miss that?
So we got in December.
Did you talk about it?
I did talk about it, I think. In December, we made it to the 21 days. Awesome. So this was December of last year.
Awesome.
And then in January, sort of like our whole world turned upside down. So then Chris moved to San Juan. I moved to Dallas. And pretty much from then until now, it's just sort of been not in the same city at the same time.
So you can't really do it.
And so that really hasn't been the priority for this year, but we're marriage eligible.
Yes.
So we could do it at any moment.
Awesome.
And keep in mind, I'm the type that'll just run to a courthouse and be like, wait, you're married?
I think that's a cool idea. Like, I like it like that.
Yeah.
It's more personal.
I think it'll happen in that way where it'll just be like one day we're like, should we do this today?
Yes, I like it like that.
Yeah, I do. I would get too frustrated in the plan.
It, yeah.
I'd be that person that's like, why aren't you putting on my centerpieces? I'm not your coordinator. I needed that. No.
She knew this before. It's like, girlfriend, not today.
So yeah, I can't risk being that person. Yeah. Plus $30,000 is like part of a down payment on a house. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I can't. So what's next for you?
Just traveling for this job, I guess. Like I said, I give myself 2 years. It may not last 2 years, but I'm going to try dating in different cities. Like, I think it'll be fun. And I like exploring. I like going around and meeting new people. I have no qualms about meeting new people. Like my grandma says, you've never met a stranger. So, I think it'll be fun.
Do it.
I think it'll be fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, can people reach out to you?
Sure. My Instagram is Romarie, RHOMARIE.
Awesome. And please reach out to me at Tennesha Wood on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and let me know what you think of the show. And until next time, wish me love. Hello again, my lovely listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of DRL. If you like the show, be sure to go on iTunes and leave a rating and also write a review. And don't forget to share with your friends and tell them all about DRL. Thank you so much for supporting.